WildC.A.T.s, issue 3, Matthew Rosenberg writing with Steven Segovia on the art. This is a book that I am continuing to read because there wasn't a lot out this week.
I will tell you that if this was a week like that's coming next week, this would have gotten skipped. And it's no fault of the book, though, just because it's low in the priorities.
Well,
I want to give Rose.
I don't know. It's weird because like I'm reading it and it reads fairly well enough, but like it keeps throwing more and more characters at me, and I feel like I've still not learned who the main characters are, and I'm just kind of like, I feel like I'm just going through the motions when I read it now, because like, and it's only issue 3, we're not that far in, and I already feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm close to just saying, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, the whole Seven Soldiers thing was a hat on a hat, I feel, because they don't really, as of yet, they don't feel that important. But I feel like this book really is at its best when it's Grifter and Zealot together. Because like the back half, I really, really enjoyed. You know, once they start getting into their special mission with Fairchild, that's where I feel like the book really works well. And just throwing the Seven Soldier stuff and all these characters, which with me, and I know this is my own fault, I have to know who all these characters are. So that leads me to, as I'm reading, pull my phone out and let me try to figure out who some of these characters are. You know, like Majestic, because they feel familiar, like I should know who they are, right? But so far in the story, they don't have much importance. If that makes sense.
I mean, they set up that they're going to be important though, because like we spend a page introducing them all, and then the main group all react to who they are. Yeah. Right. So it's setting up that there is some conflict. Obviously, Grifter ends up punching one of them, but
to get fired, you know, right?
Well, not really. Possibly fired. He gets sent on leave. He's not fired yet, and then he's asked to come back before the end of the issue, making it relatively meaningless.
Nothing. Yeah.
No. So this issue starts with a very, tried and true comic trope of here's something that's happening later in the issue for a page, and then we go back to earlier. This felt really disjointed to me though, because like we ended the last issue with this cliffhanger of the reveal of the Seven Soldiers, and then after this first page, it goes back to that. It goes back to that exact moment and picks up, and we find out that this is the PR team. Like, so the main team's doing all the real work, and then this is the team for the press that is going to do the interviews and the photo ops and all that sort of stuff. And I just kind of felt like it's almost like there was a lack of confidence where we have to promise there's going to be action later, and I'm like, it's a comic book. No one would have been worried that there wasn't going to be action later in the issue. So it feels just really disjointed for me, because like if you're going to pick up straight where the last one left off with its cliffhanger, then just start with that.
Right.
Just start with it. It's especially since like, I mean, I'm not saying you can never do it, but I think in this case, because like you're introducing 7 new characters immediately, don't like muddy my mind with like action to come later. Like,
yeah, I agree, because
making it messy to me.
I remember, them introducing this new team stuck in. So when I open up the book and it's Grifter falling off of a building or whatever, I'm just like, wait, what happened to what the press con? Like, who are these new characters?
And then so it goes back to the thing, and then page 3 is a 16-panel page introducing all 7 of these characters, and each character gets a reaction from someone else on the main team. So there's a lot going on in that page. And don't get me wrong, I like the idea of there being a PR team and then the real team that's actually doing all the dirty work. Like that, there is an interesting concept there.
Yeah, sure.
And Grifter and Zealot do have their moments of humor, as they always do. But the team without Grifter's sent to rescue a kid, I think.
Yeah, so it's some diplomat's kid that if something happens to the kid, it's going to cause World War III. So the stakes are high up, and it looks like the Court of Owls is involved, because Grifter does show up.
Well, we don't know if they're involved with that, because the Court of Owls thing is Grifter goes to so while they're doing this, Grifter goes to interrogate this guy who he thinks might be related to these owl dudes that he's encountered. And it turns out that he's right, because sure enough, I mean, there's a regular bodyguard first who he throws out the window, right? That happens first, but then a Talon shows up to fight him, and I don't get me wrong. The funniest moment of the book might be Grifter is his narration saying, "Oh wait, I'm actually right. I was right. Yeah. My hunch paid off. I'm right. Damn it."
That's right. I conflated the two just because of the actiony sequences.
Yeah. There's no owls. I mean, they could still be connected to it, but there's nothing in the issue that connects them to the kid that the others are saving.
Yeah.
But then they teleport Grifter to the others to help with that action scene, which leads to all the helicopter stuff.
Yeah, I do love Rosenberg's voice for Grifter though, because he's like, "Wait, how are you gonna teleport me?" He's like, "Oh, we injected you with nanites." You did what? And as he's saying like, "You did what?" They're teleporting him away from this fight with the Talon, and the pacing of it does make me laugh on a consistent basis.
Yeah, no, the actual way the story's told and the action is laid out is by and large entertaining. Yeah, there's just so many goddamn characters.
So many characters, so much going on, and it's But yeah, I do love when Grifter does show up.
It's so many characters as well that are new to us, right? I mean, I know they're not all new. In fact, most of them aren't. But but for us specifically, most of them are new.
Yeah. Well, like Maul, the one character that looks like the Hulk. I remember him from, like the '90s WildC.A.T.s stuff. Like you'd go into the local comic book store and they'd have posters, and I recognize him. I have no idea what his deal is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not
so there's a lot of that. Or like Majestic is. I remember a Majestic comic book in the early 2000s when I was starting to get back into comics, but like, again, I feel it's a kind of Shazam-y thing where he's actually a kid and there's some modification or whatever, like science, he's like science Shazam almost. But I could be completely wrong. I have no idea.
And honestly, I think I felt a little bit annoyed as well that there's this action scene where the helicopter goes on for ages. And then it kind of ends with him just still falling. Like, it ends with him still falling through the sky from the helicopter thinking he might die. And meaning that we've not actually advanced past what that opening page was, really, beyond a few seconds anyway. Because they teleport everyone else out with their nanites, as has been set up. But he's still just falling through the sky.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I do like what with Fairchild, right? That happens here where Fairchild talks to the kid, right? To put the kid at ease. I like that. I like that scene. So, there's some good little character stuff in here. But yeah, it is kind of a grab bag of a book. Where there's some stuff I really like, and there's other stuff that I'm just gonna on. But it's not like I'm never annoyed that I'm reading it. Like this is a fine book. I don't mind that, that Rosenberg, because I can tell that Rosenberg and Segovia both are putting some work in on this,
Yeah, I think I'm done.
No, yeah. I'm going to stick through, I say this right now, unless it's a super busy week, I'm going to stick through the first arc. That's what I tend to do. I'm not going to be like, Connor with his Red Hood, but I'm going to stick through just to see where this goes.
I found myself just going through the motions while reading this and not really being that into it beyond just like the odd moment here or there, and at the end just kind of feeling like I could have just not bothered and I would have not felt any like I'd missed anything. So I just okay. I think fundamentally I just don't care enough about these characters, and I'm not saying that they can't make me care. I think there's been like glimpses of hope or glimmers of hope that Rosenberg could make me care with the story in Urban Legends and then like parts of the first issue of this. But both as they've went on have sort of dwindled for me because it starts just throwing in a bunch of characters rather than like slowly introducing them and like building them up one by one kind of thing. It's like, here's a bunch of characters, and you can get away with that to an extent in other like event style books when there's like all Justice League members and stuff, because I know who a lot of them are and I can latch on to most of them. So if there's one or two that I don't know, it's not a big deal. Here, I just kind of feel like, you know what? This is for people who know all these characters. I don't think it's that new reader friendly. It's certainly not month to month. Like maybe in trade form it reads better because I may have just had the introduction to the main characters like recently if I'd been reading it all in one swoop. So Yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I think I'm done with WildC.A.T.s.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, again, as long as it's not too busy, I will definitely be checking this out.
Segovia's ours good, but I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
It has that 90s style to it without any of the drawbacks to me. Like it feels like Jim Lee of that era, but a little bit more refined. And I think that's just Segovia style, So I think it's a good fit for these Wildstorm characters.
I mean, the action flows well enough and all that, so I have no real complaints with the art per se. All right, what are you giving WildC.A.T.s 3?
I'm gonna give this a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll just give it a fair 6, I think.